Hello, everyone. I want to talk about a book real fast. It's called The Valley of the Bones, and it's by Rudolph R. Windsor. The conditions that face Black people in America. Now, I know a lot of people get upset with me because I'm always talking about Black people and how 90% of the time it's just bringing out how ignorant we are. And it's because the survival of this planet depends on us going back to our original position in life. And it seemed like with every year, we going further and further and further away from it. And we'll be systematically genocide, jailed, imprisoned, poisoned, enslaved mentally, physically. And this book, it talks a lot about the Bible, but it makes more sense because you can look at the Bible as it being fabricated, like any book that's been written. It has some truths and it has some lies and it has some fantasies and it had exaggerations. All books do, but you don't go around killing people because of something that was written in a book. I mean, that's just common sense. But this book right here is just bringing out what we need to do. Because a lot of people don't believe in being chosen by God, except the ones that think they're chosen by God. Uh, but we've stopped thinking deep. Instead, we letting other people think for us. And right here, it talks about what's really going on. And you see that now they're starting with the schools, making sure the schools are being systematically destroyed. They don't want us regular people to get smarter because they don't think they need intelligence because they have the nuclear weapons. So ain't nobody gonna mess with us. But they just don't know they are killing people that probably could have came up with a cure for mental illness, a cure for some of these diseases. No talent. But they don't care about that because they think they have the lineage to bring about everything the world needs. They don't think nothing's gonna come from us but uh, servitude. Okay? Now, a lot of people don't believe in curses. Um, well, what do you call when you lose your total identity? You don't even have no clue where your history is, where your history started. A lot of us can't go past. Well, now, I couldn't go past who my great great parents were. Now, here in the 21st century, a lot of these kids can't even go past their mother. A lot of these kids don't even know who their grandparents were, not alone their great grandparents. A lot of these kids have grown up not knowing who their father is, their father's mother, father, or even their mother's mother. And it's not always because the parents were deceased. It's because of strife in the family. They don't want the kids around their grandparents. And sometimes it's for a good reason. We can't forget about that. Uh, or the kids have been snatched out the home and now they have lost contact with the family. And that brings about a lot of guilt, shame, disgust, and a curse of the loss of identity. When you can't identify who you are. And a lot of these kids have to grow up not knowing who their parents is, and they have to be scared that maybe they might even be in a relationship with a family member and don't even know it, or they might be sitting next to a family member and they don't even know it. That is a horrible way to live. So it is. I'm just going to bring out a few, just a little bit that I thought was interesting in this book, The Valley of the Dry Bones. On page 39, it talks about the reason why there's no outcry or there's no leadership in 1875 to return back to our culture. Now, after they wrote and signed the Declaration of Independence, uh, we didn't try to return back to our culture or return back to our country. We started, we continued to take on their persona. We didn't learn our traditions, we didn't learn our languages, because if we did, it would have strengthened the families and it would have united us. And that bond would have uplifted us and gave us self respect. And when you have self respect, you respect others. And I do believe we would have demanded what was stolen, returned, and the mother country compensated also. That's why we was able to continue to colonize Africa because of the disunity, like they doing over here now, letting some Negroes have a lot of money, a lot of prestige, giving them all these awards and all this stuff. Okay. All right, on page 40. Now, why after 1975, interest in Africa culture fell off and pride began to turn into vanity? Yes. You know what? You know why? Because people had money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Oh, yeah. You had Chrysler, you had B.F. Goodrich, you had, oh, Motown, you had all these, the Motor City, you had all these people making money, and it was getting rich. It was buying all these Cadillacs and nice ass shoes, and they was even afford a second family. And pride just was swept under the rug. We don't need pride. We got money. You know, they were starting to look good on TV. I remember seeing the first black people in a McDonald's commercial. Oh, we was moving up. The middle class basically get their wealth from the other elite. And that's exactly what it was. They was throwing us crumbs and we was, okay, okay, I hear you. We pacified now, you know. And instead of out there making our own money, building our own self up. And of course, it was a lot of black businesses back in the 70s. And then you had the side hustles. That was back then when pimping was, you know, you could pimp. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them made money pimping. And and most businesses relied on people who who have low esteem and trust issues. And cater to 95% of the original creatures, which are us in the community, not really mainstream products. Most of these businesses now have presidents or stockholders or business consultants. So it's really mostly mom and pop shops. They wasn't really building an empire. It wasn't going globally. It was just a shop on the corner and was basically selling things that clothing, food, not really nothing industrial or products that you would have to, people would have to order to keep their business going. Page 41. And why does the rich original elites, which is us, stay rich while so many other original creatures stay poor? Why wasn't a counter KKK arose in the South? For example, that every original was hung, two other of them should have been swinging too. Now, whether that happened or not, we won't know. We will never know. I don't know. I don't think so. But I doubt it. And a lot of us might not be here. Oh well. You know how it is when um, when we try to retaliate or be rebellious against their establishment. They want to go out and blow us up and kill us. Well, they're doing that now on the low level. But it can also help us be stronger. But the future generations will be in a better place. They will see the power that we have. But was there a militant group that isn't talked about? They are always trying to suppress our history, our strengths. They basically always put emphasis on our weakness, on us terrorizing one another. That's all you see on TV and YouTubes and Facebook and stuff. Us acting a fool. We need to start putting more emphasis on our good and our greatness. Start making more movies about us being kings and queens, and future movies seeing us in the future, because a lot of these movies about the future they don't see, we still in the background. So I am going to come back again with some more highlights of the movie. It should be a movie, I guess. Or the book, The Valley of the Dry Bones, the conditions that face Black people in America. All right. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and leave comments. Let's keep this subject and conversation going. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I just want to make a quick uh, video about what's been going on, and just to say what's on my mind. Uh, I was just thinking about all the senseless murders that's been going. I just read about this a couple. that just happened. I mean, these are just happening all over the country. So we get this news, in real time. You get it, right after it happens almost. And it's like, that just happened here. So it becomes overwhelming. You have to keep it in perspective that this is one or two incidents happening out of 50 states that we know of. And some states are not too fond of airing their dirty mouth. And I just heard about this employee got shot at Subway over some too much mayonnaise on a sandwich. And then I just read before that about like two people got shot at a Popeyes. And seems like every day we're hearing about someone getting shot and killed at their place of business. And then I just read about a try to be robber got killed at a Dollar General, and one of the workers shot and killed him. And they had the sister and brother on there talking about that he shouldn't have did that. They should have just called the police. When somebody's pointing a gun at you, and you have a gun, you're going to shoot that person. Because that person, you don't know what's on their mind. And you are in a panicking mode. You might move the wrong way and they shoot you. Or you might look at them the wrong way and they shoot you. I mean, they went in their place of business and put a gun on them. So that's the consequences. And then they find out that he is probably part of a string of robberies. So sooner or later, he was either going to get killed or go to jail. It's a sad situation. This person now has to live with the fact that they killed somebody. And that's punishment in its own sense. And then I started thinking about that Arbery case. First I thought about this woman in Natchez, Mississippi. She was jogging at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm not sure if it was still light. I'm sure it was probably still relatively dark. And she wound up getting ran over and killed. It was an accident. The person didn't see her, so he swerved, and then another car, I guess, behind him, put on the brakes, or it wound up hitting the woman and killing her. And I'm thinking, this is a black woman jogging in Natchez while it's dark. I guess it got better down there. Does she know the history of Natchez? I would not. Couldn't catch me jogging at night in Natchez, Mississippi. It has a very, very violent racist past. And they still there. They ain't with them. And then I thought about that Arbery case where he was jogging in daylight I know I'm wrong for saying this, but I'm not sure if it was all white neighborhood, but these white guys killed him and thought they was going to get away with it. But see, they thought they was going to get away with it because Zimmerman got away with killing Trayvon Martin. And this is how they set it up. They probably seen him jogging before, or was just determined to kill them a black person and get away with it because Zimmerman got away. They um, observed him, seen him go in that abandoned house. They filmed it. They made sure they got in a fight with him instead of calling the police, like Zimmerman didn't do. They followed him, got in a fight, and wind up shooting and killing. And they thought that they was going to shoot as Zimmerman did. Okay, going to claim self-defense like Zimmerman did, even though he the one that followed Trayvon. He the one that got in a fight with Trayvon. He was getting his butt beat and pulled out a gun and shot him point blank in his chest, I think, and killed him. Now, to this day, this man is still walking around. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Um, and another one, they were just talking about Tamar Rice. He would have been 20 years old this past day or two when they got shot in Cleveland, Ohio, by the police because he was in the car playing by himself with a um, toy gun. And then they just talked about this other one. Sorry, he the parents just got a settlement because the police killed him for no reason. What's this say? Um, a lot of those instances. See, that's what I'm saying. If the police stop you, don't do anything stupid to where they could be justified for killing you, and you are left. Your parents, your family is left with nothing. Because sometimes some police officers are just determined to kill you, or they're weak and scared little boys or women, and they would kill you just for the slightest move. Those are the ones that need to be made accountable. But if you out there and you get stopped by the police and you start running or start bad mouthing or not doing what they tell you to do, like that one guy, the police told him stand still, but he gonna keep backing up, gonna even walk to the car, want him get shot 7 times in the back. Now he's paralyzed. And he may not even get any money because they said it was justified. See, that's what I'm saying. Because this one guy, he didn't do anything. Told the people that he had a gun. He's a licensed carry, concealed, and doing everything the law requires. Let the police officer know you have a gun, and he still wind up shooting him and killing him in front of his girlfriend. And now they owe him $3.2 million. See, that's I shouldn't. I didn't know I was going to talk about it. Yeah, and it's just a shame uh, that this is the world we live in. Um, Dante Wright. Um, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They have agreed to pay $3.2 million to the family of Dante Wright, a black man who was fatally shot by a police officer who said she confused her gun for a taser. And see, here we go again. See how incompetent some of these police officers are. Now, some police officers, they are just like people. They are people with a uniform. And we all are sustainable to the states. And they lie. And they are corrupt. And they are evil. And they, and some of them are psychopaths. I mean, I don't know what they have to go through to be a police officer. But like I said, you don't know. Um, okay, it's saying that some changes to police policies and training officers in traffic stops. Now, this was just a traffic stop. And I had read that they had stopped this man numerous times. And we have all heard about Minneapolis. They have a very bad track record with traffic stops and police officers' conduct. And it says that repeated police misconduct has cost taxpayers $1.5 billion in settlements. Now, where's all this money going to? Where is it? Are they taking the money and run? It seems like all this money that has been given out, that some improvement would be in the community, education. Where, I mean, and okay, look at it. Most of the people that is getting these settlements probably are not um, too competent themselves, and they're getting this money and blowing it. It was a woman that killed her. Who knows what her background is towards black men? That's what I'm saying. We have to be very, very careful. And we need to, I would love to find out where is all this money going that is being given to these people. And I know, I'm sure these people would rather have their loved one than that money. But what are you doing with the money? It should be building up the community so it won't happen again. Start teaching our loved ones how not to get killed. Because you see it every day. You see our young ones out here stealing cars, shooting people, running from the police, robbing people, and getting killed. Just dead for nothing. Ooh. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. But I am trying to help in my community. I started a group, FIH, Future is Here group, and we want to take our kids into the future. They are our future, and if they're being shot down and killed for no reason, our future looks very, very grim. All right. Well, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and please contact me so we can have this meeting. Future is here. This is a very difficult story. It happened in my hometown, Akron, Ohio. And it consists of the killing of Jaylan Walker on June the 27th, 2022. Jaylan Walker, 25-year-old man, was killed following a traffic stop and a police chase. And after they caught up with him, they shot approximately 90 rounds at him during a foot chase and an attempted arrest. This is what the paper says. Now, this story has got national news, global news. Why? Black man killed by police, shot 90 times. Overkill? Yes. And that generates revenue. That gets these people money. Now, in the midst of times, we have people getting shot and killed practically almost every night, every other night, 2 or 3. You got kids getting killed. It's not getting national attention because it's just, just a bunch of hoodlums killing hoodlums. And not all of them is hoodlums. You got babies. You got people that just sitting there, just walking to the store. It don't matter what they did in their life. They just doing what a person does, walk to the store. And then they want to compare him to that last guy that shot all them people in Buffalo. Shot 90 rounds, but he made it out alive. He's in jail now. Not a scratch on him. But they failed to mention he did not run from the police. He did not try to fight the police. He gave up willingly because he knew he wanted to go to jail. He wanted to come out of this alive. See, these police ain't playing. I know they keep trying to say it's predominantly black people that are getting shot and killed by the police, but it's usually them are the ones that's running from the police. Why are you running? It was a traffic stop. All you had to do was just get the ticket and keep it pushing. If they had towed the car, whatever, you would have been able to go home and go to sleep in your bed. How many of us that got pulled over? How many of us that had our car towed for no reason most of the time? They didn't have to tow your car. They could have just left it there until somebody picked it up. But hey, it revenue. And nobody wants to hear that. Now here he is again. Now they out there protesting. You got the Black Lives Matter banners out there. You got them out there talking, making all this noise. The man is still dead. Why? They're all on TV. I'm so sick and tired of that. It ain't helping. I wish you would have the mother. Like I always say, go to a black YouTube commentary. Talk to them. Stop getting on this nationwide TV, giving them giving them revenue, making their folks rich. And tell the truth, because you can't tell the truth on their station. Because they're going to try to tell you what to do. You got a lawyer, so your lawyer is telling you what to do. Tell the truth. Tell these young black people what they need to know in order to be able to come home safely to your family. Now, we hear this time and time and time again. When are we going to learn? These police ain't out here. They ain't out here playing games. You going to sit up there and make them have to chase you? And we already know where we living at. We living in the United States, founded on blood and tears. What do you expect? Stop trying to act like this is not the United States. Now, we always sitting around here complaining, but we ain't doing nothing to change it. You can't go to them to change it. We got to change it. The way they think, act, and react is already built in stone. We have to break that stone. When are we going to stop saying we shall overcome? Black Lives Matter. Okay. They're going to be singing that song for about maybe, 6 weeks? And then you ain't going to hear it no more till the next one get killed. Instead of out there every day trying to educate these kids on the reality of life. I heard this one, she was a black young female talking about, all the violence. I was reading in New York where an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old got stabbed. And they think the 13-year-old stabbed the 11-year-old or something. And she was talking about how school out, these kids ain't got nothing to do, and they just have idle time. Why do they have idle time? I mean, when we was growing up, we didn't have that much to do either. We had the pool, we had the YMCA, we had the park, just about the same thing they had. But we weren't going out here killing each other, stabbing each other, robbing people's houses and stealing cars. So it's really the mindset. Because for one thing, your kids should never have idle time. It don't cost nothing to go out there and play basketball with your kids. Walk around the block, plant a tree, plant a flower. It don't cost nothing to read a book, to create a play, to create a story. Sit down and play with your kids. Go to the thrift store and buy some card games, some board games. See, we don't even know how to even relate to our own children. because we have too much of this TV, media, laptop, phone. We done lost that connection to other human beings in the flesh. We too busy trying to get a like here but then when you on there and you say something they don't like, they get an attitude and they ready to uh, bust you in your head because they can't even relate to people's other criticism. You know, we need to realize we are living in a retarded ass land, and we need to be hollering Black Lives Matter 24/7, especially at night when all these killings is going on. Because it's a doggone shame. Why is you still out here knowing among other foods? Because you know, what is they out there doing? You know, you need to tell them, hey, why don't you get a job? Talk to your kids. Play with your kids. They don't know how to do that. I was at my grandson's track meet, and I noticed all the black men out there were just talking with the other black men. They weren't even talking to the kids. They wasn't even, conversating with the kids or even acknowledging they was there. But every time something go wrong, oh, look what they did to us. It's their fault. It's never our fault. And I can say one thing, as long as we continue to play the victim, we're going to always be the victim. Thank you for listening. More to come. I am looking for someone to just debate me on this conversation. Hey, talk to me. Talk to each other about what's going on in this world, and especially in our own hometown. Now, I just heard about these two teens, and a 21-year-old is wanted for killing a 24-year-old that was only trying to cash his check. Well, he did cash his check. That's why they murdered him, for his money. Where was the outrage for that? Where are the broken windows and protesting? Black Lives Matter signs. Nowhere to be found. Now, if the police kill these guys, shoot them 2 or 3 times or more, oh, they're going to be out there in droves. So what are we saying? Your life only really matters if you are killed by the police? That needs to be disputed in the courts, just like everything else. But we know that's not going to happen because protesting, it generates revenue. But what I want to know is, are we teaching our kids not to respect authority? Why are our black men and women, kids, running from the police just being pulled over for a simple traffic violation? Is it because of the way they look at the police officers? We need to redirect our attention more on prevention. Do you understand why it's so many men are killing their women in particular? It's because they're mad at their mothers. They hate their mothers. And men that hate their mothers gonna hate all women. And even though most of these men out here
screwing every woman that they can, they still hate them. They still have a deep, resented feeling towards them because of how they feel about their mother and grandmother. And same thing with women. They hate men because they hate their father. Because parents are not parents anymore. They're more like contract killers. I mean, they're more like robots. They're not really nurturing. They're not really educating us. They're not really telling us the truth. And they're sitting up there letting us just die and be treated so badly. You know, just like my parents, for instance. I had no support from them. To this day, I was charged with child endangerment. I can't even remember what it was about. I know they took her after they found some welts on her legs. Okay? Now they'll take your kids. That's how they did black people back then. And you know, if you got a family that don't support you, they can get away with it. They can get away with taking your kids just for something stupid. You know, because I went to school with welts on my legs all the time, and by my child being special ed, they felt a certain kind of way. You know, they was checking her. I remember one time they came back and asked her why did she have some white stuff between her legs. It was soap. They tried to say something was wrong with, you know, that's what I had to put up with at these schools. And I didn't have nobody. I was young. I didn't have the support from a family member. And when I tried to go to court for this child endangerment, I went to court. And you know, I didn't have one person on my side. I didn't have one person in that courtroom. Now, you know how that looks to a court? When you have family and not one of them even show up to give you an ounce of support, and people look at you weird when you don't have no family support. They think something must be wrong with you if your family don't even like you. And then I went to court and they started bringing up all this other stuff about she had cigarette burns on her back. I'm like, what? And then when I took her to the hospital because she burnt her wrist, and I don't know how she burnt it. She burnt it on some hot water. The hot water was so hot. And I told her to go in and let the water, I told her to go and clean the tub out. And next thing I know, she in there hollering, she done burnt her wrist. And so I was scared to take her to the hospital because I thought they was going to think that I did it, and they did. They wind up thinking that I had something to do with that. Some of the doctor going to say, well, it don't sound like that's what happened. It don't look like that's what happened. You know? And I had no support from my father or mother. But I never accused them. I never thought that it was their fault, the reason why I turned out the way I did, even though it probably was. Because when you grow up your whole life thinking you ain't shit, and my father even told me I ain't been shit since I was 5 years old. He even told me that to my face. So if a person gonna tell you that to your face, then they really felt that way. And he said it to me in front of my kids and grandkids. And my mother didn't say one word. Never came to my offense. I never had any offense. They never came to our school to talk to our teachers. They never went to school with us to see how we were doing in school. And this is what's happening to a lot of our kids still to this day. And it's even worse because most parents are just strung out on drugs or abusive, alcoholics, in and out of jail, or working 2 jobs, or working a haphazard job, don't have no support, raising kids in a one-parent home, and then the kids don't even know their grandparents. The kids don't even have grandparents, don't even know them. And then most of the time, the parents are not getting along with the mothers are not getting along with their parents. So then that means that the grandkids are not having a relationship with their grandparents. Or you have all these outside kids that don't know each other. And it's just the anger that we are feeling is being internal, and it's being widely aggravated to the people around us. You know, just like I read a few minutes ago about this one guy got in an argument with a woman, and he turned around and go and run her over and killed her. That was anger. That was built up anger that he had against his mother. And he won't, he killed that woman because he was angry at his parents. And it's a shame. You know, right now, I have 13 grandkids, 8 great grandkids, and I don't know any of them. I mean, I know some of my grandkids. I only have a relationship with one. I don't even know the parents of the grandkids. I don't have a relationship with 3 of my kids out of 5. I don't have no relationship with my sisters. And this is why we living. And then on top of that, you living in such a world that is so mean. How do you wake up every morning? It's hard. You wake up in a constant state of despair. And what can we do about it? Start living for the future. Start acting like we have a future. Stop looking back. I mean, we live in a world where you can live on the same street for 20 years and don't know not one neighbor. Because trust is out the door. You can't even trust your husband with your friend, or your wife with your friend. I mean, trust is just gone. You can't even trust your kids. And there's so much that's going on, and we sitting up here blind. We just flying blind. All the stuff that's going on, and when the shit do hit the fan, we ain't gonna be in no position to protect ourselves or our children, because we are too busy partying, having a good time, buying this and buying that, trying to build wealth, trying to open businesses. All this stuff ain't gonna mean nothing when the shit hit the fan. Because we scared. We scared to face the truth. We scared to live the truth. We scared to heal. Why is these people out here still doing the stuff they're doing? I don't understand to this day, why are we still out here smoking crack? Knowing what crack does and has done to us as a nation. Why are we still out here committing all these crimes, getting locked up, getting shot by the police? Why? Why are we still out here drinking and driving, getting on the road, speeding, and then go kill 3 people, and now you in jail, probably going to be for the rest of your life? Why? Because we have been subjected to mental we have been raised by mentally ill, deranged, slave mentality people. We don't raise our kids to grow up to be warriors or raise them up to be leaders. We don't raise them up to be educated, strong. We don't raise them to grow up to watch what they say and do. We don't raise them to acquire good habits. We just let them just do whatever. And society is making sure. You see what they done did to the school? They done took away all the things that gave us character. They don't even have home economics. They don't even hardly teach these kids how to grow food. They don't even teach them woodwork. They don't even teach them welding. They don't even teach them how to cook. So, and they hardly teach them how to read and comprehend what they're reading. Now they're trying to take away things that they can read. And now the kids go to school and there's so much going on. Now they don't know what bathroom to use. And then we leave our kids vulnerable to this instead of talking to them. The school system has become a power structure where it is really trying to take over your mind to prepare you to be unstable, and they can do whatever they want to do with you. Because now you have to go spend all this money and get in all this debt and do all these years of school just to make a decent wage. Which, what's good is the decent wage if you're living in a world that is so unstable? And this world is very, very, very unstable. Where you can't even go to the grocery store and come out alive. Where you could actually get up, wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, wash your face, say bye to your kids, and make your grocery list, and go to the grocery store, and some deranged idiot come in the store and start shooting it up, and there you go. That's it. That's for you. It's over. Or you sitting up in church, or you just standing in a parade, and some deranged person just takes an ARK-15 and just starts spraying bullets. And you was living right. You was going to work. You was taking care of your home, taking care of your kids, paying your taxes, taking care of your home, family. But somebody that was raised by a mentally ill, deranged, evil, probably religious ideology, mass murderer person. And there you go. What can we do about it? First of all, we got to start talking about it. And that's what I intend on doing. Because angry people get stuff done. It's time for us to start getting angry about our situation and how to change it. And I know it's going to be hard. It's the hardest thing in the world for people to change forcefully. You have to force yourself to change. And that means changing everything you've been doing for the last 5 years. That means you got to stop drinking, smoking, getting high, partying, spending money on unnecessary stuff. You have to stop treating people like they dirt. You have to change your language. You have to learn new stuff. And most of all, we need to stop talking about slavery so much. I'm so sick of hearing about slavery. Because we're still looking at ourselves as descendants from slaves. Ain't no slaves been born. I mean, we need to start talking about the slavery that's still going on. You know? It's still a lot of people in this world that are still being enslaved. Stop talking about all this slavery. Jim Crow and all that stuff. Why are we talking about it? It's still happening. We talk about it like it's in the past. It's still going on because we still have the same mentality. We are still wearing the same slave clothes. We're still wearing the same slave mind thoughts. We are still keeping ourselves in restriction. We still, certain places we can't go. Certain places we're not allowed to go to. I have went through some places where you could be there for 24 hours and don't see one black face. And then you can go somewhere and you'll see a white person faster than you would in some other places, because you have white people are able to go anywhere they want, because they are in most of the time they are in some form of authority. Police, caseworkers, utility workers, construction. But when I lived in Jackson, Mississippi, I went a good while before I seen a white face. So we ain't gonna talk about Jackson, Mississippi. But it is definitely time to change our ways, or our kids are doomed. Our future is very, very dim.
Hello, everybody. I am extending an invitation for everybody to join my group, FIH. Future is here. We're going to learn how to live for the future, because that's where we need to be to help our children live in the future.